Of course, there are still a lot of questions this morning about what exactly happened in New Mexico and how it happened. Now, we want to bring in Seth Boynick. He's with the Farmington River Trading Co. He knows a lot about firearms and how they're handled. Of course, he was not privy to what exactly happened, but he can at least give us some background as to some of the possibilities. Seth, good morning. How are you today?
Morning. How are you, Tim?
I am doing well. Okay, first things first, we keep hearing a prop gun was used here. What are the differences, if any, between a prop gun and a normal firearm?
That's a good question. So a prop, historically in Hollywood, they may use both blank guns, which are not guns at all. They're not intended to fire, just think of it in terms of a cap gun. And sometimes they use true-to-life, real firearms from period correct rifles or handguns or shotguns. They're actually, they have inventories of these things that can be used that are quite accurate, meaning real guns. And so
that's a good point. Just because it says prop gun does not necessarily mean it wasn't a real firearm.
Right. We just don't have enough. I certainly don't have enough knowledge at this time to know which it is. But yeah, I'm going to hold up a gun. This is what I'm going to hold up is a blank pistol. That might be considered a prop gun, but a real gun, a real firearm, might also be a prop gun.
Okay. What can be loaded in either a real gun or a prop gun to make it less lethal? I mean, we're talking about dummy rounds. There could be ones that just have charges. How does that all work?
Yeah. So to create an explosion inside a firearm of any kind, whether it's a blank gun or whether it's a real firearm, it needs some kind of compression. And so, if you think of a blank gun in terms of a cartridge case, which is a proper cartridge case, with no bullet but some sort of wadding to seal it so that when it discharges, and I won't bore you with the details of what creates the discharge, but so when it discharges, it creates sort of an explosion, and that's the noise of the gun going off. It's conceivable that the wadding, which might be something soft, not steel, not a bullet, not lead, but rather some kind of packing material, at very close range could hurt or injure someone. It's conceivable. It's also possible that if it were not, now these guns have barrels that are not intended to fire. They are non-functioning as a real firearm. If it's a real firearm that is also used as a prop gun, firing a blank, same thing, meaning a cartridge that has no bullet or pellets or whatever the ammunition might be, which pellets in terms of a shotgun, which I'm sure this was not, then it's the same dynamic. That is, when something goes off, and gases will come out at some velocity out the end of the barrel, and even without a bullet, without what constitutes a real cartridge, there would be something that comes out. And again, at real close range, it's conceivable that could hurt somebody or injure someone or even kill them.
Yeah.
Lastly, if it is a real firearm, using a blank, if something were left in the barrel inadvertently, think of the barrels are cleaned with brushes and at the end of a steel rod. And if a brush, for instance, were left in the barrel by accident, a cleaning implement, the discharge of the blank cartridge could propel that out in such a manner as to cause harm.
And Seth, thank you for your time. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I believe that's closer to what happened in the death of Brandon Lee, that there was sort of a dummy round that got stuck in the chamber. And then when a blank was loaded behind it, the blank provides the charge, the dummy round provides the bullet. And it's kind of like a bullet in two steps that kills it.
It becomes a bullet in a manner of speaking. That's correct.
All right. Well, Seth, thank you so much for taking the time just to give us a little bit of a background on what this is all about and what the possibilities were. We do appreciate it.
Sure.